Rocky just had some wet food, some nice shredded chicken. That's the second can I opened for him, because the first can, when I opened it, it was a turkey dinner thing. And when I opened up the can, on top of the food was this really gross looking oily black liquid, and I'd never seen that before in that food, so I threw that away. Anyway, I wasn't going to give that to Rocky. I didn't trust it. And so I opened up another can of chicken. Poor Rocky was doing a little dance on the table and meowing, waiting for his food, and then he had to watch me throw his food away. But I did open another can for him anyway, so he did have that, and he enjoyed it, I think. There's still some there for him to have later. Anyway, I was thinking about something today, and I was trying to figure out how to best put it into words. And that is why I dislike my country as much as I do. I live in Canada, for anybody who doesn't know. And I have been really a hater of Canada for probably 40 years. Like, I absolutely despise my country. I hate it I hate this place with a passion. And I know people will jump down my throat. They'll say, well, if you don't like it, go elsewhere, or you should be grateful because other places are worse, or, I'll get the list of atrocities that are committed in Zimbabwe and Mozambique and the Philippines and who knows where else, And yeah, that's all true. Atrocities are committed everywhere. And there are places where far worse atrocities are committed than the atrocities that are committed here. Although we're steadily moving toward being more and more like those places. And that takes me to the reason that I hate Canada as much as I do. And it's because I find the people of Canada are cowardly, for the most part, and are just total believers in authority to the point where they won't stand up even when things are obviously wrong. And, of course, in my case, I got a good taste of what authority is capable of from an early age, And so I really never lived with the delusion that our authority figures here are good while the authority figures in other countries are bad. I remember one time my mother told me, she scolded me for hating Canada. And she said, well, you hate Canada, but look what goes on in other places. Like she said, look, in Russia, they attack and beat and kill homosexuals. That's not right. Well, I would agree that isn't right that they do that. And I've heard those stories. There's a mouse that's passed on. I just came across it there walking. Anyway, and she's right. They do things like that there, and it isn't right. But the fact that they do things like that there isn't proof that Canada is perfect, or that Canada doesn't need to repair a lot of things that are wrong here, a lot of the injustices that happen here, and so on. And I've seen the injustices firsthand, so I know they exist, and I'm sick of living in a place where the majority of the people are in denial about it, and mad at me because I see it and I'm critical of it. But here's the thing. Just to give you a couple of examples of why I dislike Canada as much as I do. Back in 2003, I told this story in another video, but I'll tell it quickly now. Our local police department was running an extortion scam, an extortion scheme. Yeah, you heard me right. They were running an extortion scheme, just like organized criminals. And what they were doing is, anybody that had an old vehicle, they come to your door and they would accuse you of being involved in a hit-and-run accident. They would say that there was $700 done to the other car. They'd say it happened in a private parking lot. There was $700 in damage done to the other car. Now you just give me $700 in cash in my hand to give to the owner of the other car, and it will all go away. And if you refused, they'd come and they'd pull the plates off your car and condemn it as unsafe. Take your car away from you. Well, they did that to me. I refused to pay the money. In fact, I told the cop up front that I knew what she was doing. It was a female cop by the name of Sharon Spear. I said, I know what you're doing, and you're trying to solicit a bribe. And I said, I'm not going to pay a bribe. Well, a few days later, they come in the middle of the night when I was asleep, took my plates off my car. In the morning, a cop by the name of Mark Massey showed up at my door to tell me that my car was deemed unsafe and the plates had been taken off it. And early in the morning, he come to my door. Well, I called him. I told him, well, not just him, I called the police department. A bunch of corrupt gangsters and just all-around dirty pigs. That's the words I use. I said, you're nothing but a bunch of corrupt gangsters and you're just all-around dirty pigs. Well, you know, when I tell that story to people here, what I find is I encounter more people who are more disturbed about the fact that I was disrespectful to a police officer, but I called that police officer a dirty gangster and a pig. They're more disturbed by that than the fact that our police were actually running an extortion racket in the town. We're basically acting as organized criminals, as gang members. That's one story. Another story is back in around 2000, between 2000 and 2002, I had a couple of OPP officers, one whose last name is Calabrese, the other officer's last name is Sonnenberg. They tried, and like I say, I don't care, I'm going to say the names, I don't care. They tried to frame me for a bunch of break-and-enters that were happening in Tay Valley Township, which is a township that borders the town of Perth, Ontario. Anyway, they spent 2 years trying to build a case against me for it. I had nothing to do with that. I've never been a break-and-enter guy, but I've never been a thief either. But they tried to build a case against me anyway to send me to prison for these crimes. Video size limit reached. I'll tell the rest of the story in the next video.